How you doing? It's Sandesh here, and I'm going to do a video on an article on the Guardian. I know it's the fucking Guardian. But this article is it's called "In the Olympics Boxing Arena, Facts and Fairness Are Taking a Battering." So I'm going to give it a chance because of what the title is. Now it could be a misdirect. It could be full of crap. I don't know. But I'll give it. I'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, before I get into the article, if you could follow me on X and subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey, and TikTok as well, if you don't mind, please. Excuse me. I'm going to be on BitChute as well very soon. So the videos that are on my other platforms will be on BitChute as well. Anyway, here we go. On a packed Friday afternoon at the Lo-Fi North Paris Arena, essentially a reconfigured trade fair hall, the Paris 2024 boxing program staged the most widely politicised, toxic and largely misunderstood event of these Olympics. Yes, this was a travesty, but not perhaps the travesty many people might have had in mind. Definition: a distorted or false version of offence. All that was already certain in Paris was that we definitely got one of those. At 3:30 p.m. Chinese Taipei, Yu-ting. I know this is an old one, but I heard that Iman and Ling Yun-ting are gonna face each other. But I'll carry on. Between the ropes to fight Sitora Turdibaekova of Uzbekistan in the opening round of the women's featherweight competition. In the process, and in an extraordinary development in her own previously regulation existence, Lid did so under the gaze of Donald Trump and J.K. Rowling and the entire massed global commentator of a complex and incremenous war of ideas and identity in which she is essentially non-combatant. What the fuck? I got a bad feeling about this one. Under the gaze of Donald Trump and J.K. Rowling, what the hell does J.K. Rowling and Donald Trump got to do with this? It's all they've always got to be able to put Donald Trump in some shit somehow, even if it's got nothing to do with him whatsoever. Can we just really be clear on this? Lynn is not, as far as anyone knows, a transgender woman. Lynn is also not male as far as anyone knows, and has never changed her gender identity. Lynn was born a girl 28 years ago. She is an athlete competing under her birth passport as a woman, backed also as has been reported in her home country by a Taiwanese identity number assigned at birth that begins with a 2, meaning this person was born a baby girl. Lynn is a career fighter, much respected in her home country. She had until a year ago, as we must assume in the absence of any other evidence, no idea that this issue was going to subsume her life. This is what has happened since. At last year's World Championships, Lynn took a swab test which, according to the International Boxing Association, indicated the presence of sufficient male chromosomes to disqualify her from the women's event. This is something that has begun to happen more regularly in elite sports. Yeah, if you have to take a swab test and then you can't exactly say no, and if they find that you got male chromosomes in your body, I mean, obviously you're going to be automatically disqualified. A similar thing happened in the Namibian runner Christine Bomber. In Mobama's case, she grew up as a girl and a woman, found she was good at running, went to a competition that discovered after being tested before the Tokyo Games that she was producing a large amount of testosterone that could not have children and would now live with this previously unknown condition. She competed and won 200 meters silver in Tokyo, but a subsequent ban from competition when World Athletics changed its rules feels odd in a certain light. A case of Sebastian Coe and pals taking it upon themselves to define what a woman is allowed to be, not just on the outside but also on the inside. I'm starting to hate this article already. Um, um, Mbama, it could be argued, simply has an innate physical capacity as a Usain Bolt has. This may or may not be the case for Lynn. No one knows if she, like Mbama, is what elite sport calls a DSD athlete, which means a person with a different, less linear personnel biology that may convey certain performance advantages. Only one thing is really clear: it is all very hard on Lin and the Algerian boxer Imane Khalif, who had a similar result in a test taken by the IBA. It feels like this article wants to blame the IBA, even though all they did, they just did a swab test, and this is what they found, and and they had to disqualify them. It just feels like that's what this article is trying to say. Oh, it was the IBA's fault. Both boxed without incident in Tokyo. Both have competed for years at this level. Khalif has a similar backstory. She was born and grew up as a female. She is not doping and is not trying to assert a new gender identity. She also comes from Algeria, which continues to outlaw homosexuality, which has no visible LGBTQ culture, support network, or any progressive culture on such issues. This is by any objective measure a starting situation for a 25-year-old Algerian woman to find herself in. How to digest or process or deal with this? Is this even a trans issue, or as so many seem to have assumed? It is certainly a sporting and practical one. Clearly, trans people deserve and are long overdue full personal, legal, and emotional freedom to be as they are and do as they please. At the same time, there are obvious problems with encouraging people who have been through a testosterone-fueled male puberty to compete in particular sporting events against people who have not. These are hugely complex and essentially irresolvable issues. So basically, if she has more testosterone in her body, what you're basically saying in this article is right that she should have freedom to basically face women that are going to be nowhere near as tough as strong or athletically strong as people like Imane and the Taiwanese boxer. That's what you're pretty much saying in this article. Um, these are hugely complex, essential, irresolvable issues. Equal rights, health concerns, well-being, and access to sport for young women all come into play. I've noticed that the thing is in this article, there's nothing about there's no there's nothing about protecting women in women's sports or protecting women's sports in general. No, anything about women's rights. Nothing about that at all. Nothing about that yet. And I think I'm about halfway through it. It is impossibly difficult balance of interests, one that requires care and thought and sensitivity on all sides. Fuck's sake. And that can only progress with trust and respect, by an absence of censure and blame, above all by total clarity on the facts. At which point, well, here comes everybody. Here comes the starting ineptitude and tardiness of the IOC in addressing this issue. Here comes the stampeding online hordes, opportunists, politicians looking for a pinata to the whack. The fuck? Here comes a misunderstanding of the facts. Pre-cooked argument looking for its nail, which is always the same nail. Which is why is the author of the Harry Potter series engaged in an arm's length and factually uncertain feud with the Taiwanese boxing community over the sex of a Olympic featherweight contender? What could Trump possibly have to offer on this subject? Why are you mentioning Trump for? Trump has got nothing to do with this. Why are two groups of people who really do have more in common than what divides them? Women who are concerned about women's rights and trans people who are concerned about trans rights, so entrenched in this battle that our unresolved issue of biology in women's boxing becomes just another nuclear button issue. There was a visual reaction to Khalif's bout on Thursday. There were urgent, unresolved questions about the safety of women's sport. But Khalif is also a person who was born a woman and, as all evidence suggests, always considered herself a woman. In the end, the only obvious fault here lies with the IOC's malfunctioning boxing unit, which managed this situation with a ham-fisted and weirdly aggressive sense of its own certainty. It lies with Thomas Bach, who clearly just hoped this would all blow over. It lies with the failure to formulate a proper policy, to have a plan and a program for the athletes. It lies with every talking head who has half understood the situation, has assumed that what they are witnessing here is just another variation on previous outrages and leapt in with both feet. Well, because the thing is, I mean, they pretty much said, the IOC said, if it says a woman on your passport, then you're a woman. And also what the fact that I did a previous video about this, and I clearly got a lot of hate for it. That as far as like, if you have more chromosomes in your body, then the thing is, I think you gotta take I think you're going to take procedures or whatever to 12 months ahead before, to bring to bring the testosterone down. But the thing is, that clearly did not happen in this case. So the thing is, it's probably a combination of her trainer's fault, obviously her fault, and the IOC's fault for allowing this to even happen. So really, the people that are complaining, that were concerned about this, about why are boxers with more testosterone fighting women boxers? I mean, yeah, we're not the issue, we're not the problem. We're just wondering, why the hell is this allowed to happen in the Olympics? It shouldn't be even happening, period. For now, and with competition ongoing, there are no sensible answers. Probably seeing Lin and Khalif in the flesh as people, not avatars in a war of ideologies, might help. Another person who deserves our sympathy is Tubidi Kova, Lin's opponent in Paris, a 22-year-old Uzbek whose hero is Muhammad Ali and whose dream is to win a gold medal. That will not happen here. Lin took the fight in a routine points decision and will move on in the last 16. At the end, she was pursued towards the safety of the players' area by a swarming media crew before exiting without saying a word. Her coach did stop to say a few words in Mandarin, looked largely nonplussed, asked a question by an American journalist. His only response before scooting back behind the barricades was to shrug and say, "Hey, it's the Olympic Games," which is at least exceptionally, in the current circumstances, undeniably correct. Yeah, it's the Olympics, but the thing is, it's also the Olympic Games. This one currently, the organisers of this one currently, it's also their fault too for allowing this to happen. Perhaps this will continue to run, and perhaps though it can become just a little more civil, a little kinder to the people at the centre, and a little more anchored in fact. Well, the thing is, like I said, everyone involved allowed this to happen, and in my opinion, the true victims were their opponents who were not, obviously not strong enough to face them. They were the true victims in all this, and that's pretty much the consensus everywhere. And like I said in a previous video, this Olympics 10 years later from now is going to be looked on as a shit show, not just for the opening ceremony, but for the thing is, but for also this nonsense, where this nonsense did not have to happen in the first place. It just did not have to happen in the first place. They chose for this to happen. They chose for this to happen. They pretty much wanted this to happen. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and please like, comment, subscribe on this video. And if you could follow me on X and subscribe on YouTube, Rumble and Odyssey and TikTok as well, if you don't mind, please. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.